Hey guys, welcome back to Vinchville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a Scream Symbiot from Marvel Comic Books custom statue that I made from the Sideshow Collectibles Black Widow. Now this is the Black Widow that had the cloth all over the body and she was holding up the sniper rifle. So what we did is we pulled off the cloth, we made up new hands, we had a different head that was 3D sculpted that was sent to me, and we added the head and I did all the symbiote texture on the body, and I sculpted the hair and added different hands onto her and everything. Sorry I'm filming it in the workbench area because of its gray primer with the gray background in my photo setup, you lose the character. So I figured let me just throw it in here because I'm actually not going to be painting this item. This item is pretty much finished up, ready to go. The client is going to be painting it. They just wanted me to do the custom work. So it's a really cool idea, and I think what he's going to do too is he might be printing out or doing something like a building, like in New York City or Hell's Kitchen or something, and he'll probably add her onto that because I don't think he's going to be using the base. So I don't have any of those elements and stuff. I just did all the custom work, and it's pretty easy if you get some kind of a, building. Even though her feet are a little bit different, if you kind of break up the building and you make it look like it's broken and she's kind of crushing it or something, it could probably work. Now I did do this on the streams, my Picardo streams a lot, and some of it done on my live streams on Fridays. So it's just something that once in a while where if I'm sitting at the desk and I'm not going to be getting up for a while, I could pop on a stream for my Picardo streams, and I could play anything I want in music, and I kind of just worked on the stuff here and there. So you can see the hair was a lot of hair. She's a character that has a really, really bulky, flowing hair. So all this is actually in the inside is a metal rod. I'll show you the rod in a second, and it was actually freeform air. And then I put Aves on top of it, because if I did this all in Aves, she would be so top heavy, she would pull her back, and that's a lot of Aves to work with. So whenever I do stuff like this, I'm trying to use that free-form air from Smooth On to give me like an armature or a basic shape, and then sculpt Aves on top of that, because this whole thing with Aves would be heavier than probably the statue. So it is a little bit tricky and everything. So the other thing too is I wouldn't have been able to sculpt this head. It's kind of like out of my range. So I asked the guy, I said, why don't we get some head sculpt from the online STL files and print it out. So he said he had a friend that actually can sculpt a head. So he actually had the head sculpted, and then he printed out 3 different sizes and sent it to me. So I just found the size that worked with it. So then I added the head onto the body. I put a rod going down here, and I sculpted all the hair. Now I'll show you the rod in a second. Let me try to get this out. Pull the camera back a little bit. So with it being so long and so heavy, I wanted to make sure this would be secured. So, as you can see, there's a rod here, right? This rod is actually up, goes through this head. It's actually bent. It's a steel rod. It could be magnetized if it needed to, but I didn't have to. And the rod goes all the way down, and I kind of bent it coming down this way. And then the rod kind of stopped around here. So what I did is I used some brass rod, and I kind of connected it with some glue, and I wrapped Magisculpt around that. I let that cure, and then I did all my armature, and then from there I did all the sculpt work of the hair. So it was just a matter of a lot of layering, kind of stylizing it a bit. I wanted to make sure that the rod goes into the body far. I didn't want it to do just like a 1/4 of an inch. I really wanted to make sure that gets in there and it locks in place. So I just kind of started doing all that detailing, as you kind of see, of the hair. The guy that sculpted the face did a really great job. Looks really great. It's going to be really cool painted up. So you can see all this texture on the body. So what I did was I rolled out A's flat, and then I would wrap the A's flat on the item, and then I would just start doing all this texture. And I used like some cloth, I think something like, was I using a sponge or a cloth? I forget. I think I was using a lot of stuff like this, where I would go in here and I would create a texture on that. Now, she's going to be painted up red and yellow. So I told him, I said, what would really be cool is if you actually paint the red texture, like do some kind of red texturing paint in here, something there, mask that off, and then do the yellow on top of it. It'll come together. So as you can kind of see what I added. It's a symbiote. So, there's a lot of ways you can do these symbiotes. You can do anything you really want. I tried to follow the artwork that I showed in the video. Kind of just stylize it a little bit here and there. But it really worked out pretty great. I like it a lot. I think I've only worked on this statue once before for a custom. I forget. I think I made the gray Black Widow, I think. But it's a really cool statue. And then the hands, what I did is I had a bunch of hand parts in my thing. So what I did is I kind of created the hands. I resculpted them with wires, and I kind of did the points, and they are magnetized. Now, the reason why I magnetize them because I'm afraid that these hands and fingers would break. So, I mean, when he gets it in hand, if he wants to actually seam it up, he can just put a dab of glue and a little bit of Aves or putty and kind of make them uniform in one shot. But I like the idea of having them magnetized only because, you know, it could snap and break. I don't want to risk all that. And then other than that, it's just a matter of just keep on adding all this texture, doing all this hair. Just kind of really worked it out pretty well. There's really not much more to it. And one last thing I did do, though, is a lot of these hair parts that are kind of coming off the edges, these are actually hair parts I have from Sideshow statues that I broke, I've chopped, I ripped off pieces. You can see something like this right here is from like the Rogue statue from the first premium format. You know, I could use stuff like this to kind of run. And this stuff is kind of like bendable. It's almost like a PVC. So sometimes like stuff like that would actually save you from breaking, but other pieces might still break. Except this one piece right here, I had to make this magnetized because she has sort of like these sickles or cysts that come out of her hair. We only did one, but I made this magnetized because I was afraid that that might break in shipping too as well. So if he really wants to, he could just go there and seam that up and leave it attached, but it all depends on what they want to do. So that's as far as I went with this one. Came out pretty cool. I like the idea now of utilizing a lot of 3D items for customs because trying to find parts these days has like dried up. Back in the day, you know, there was a lot of parts on eBay. You could find broken hands, broken bodies, extra heads, all kinds of stuff. Those days are kind of gone. So now you could just go on to like these STL sites and just find stuff and kind of find something you like and hit print and print it in scale, you know, or you can have somebody sculpt you an item and just do certain things. But that is Scream. Pretty straightforward. Basically, I won't have a picture in this video of it painted up, but the person who does paint it up will probably post it in a lot of statue groups on Facebook. If they don't, they're more than welcome to send me a picture or a link, and I can link it in the description down the line. So you could come back, or maybe what I do is I could do a pin post too on the comments of saying, hey, here's the person's Facebook that painted up, go check it out, type thing like that. But with that being said, let me know what you guys think. Do you like the way she came out? Do you like the idea of more STL 3D prints utilizing it for my customs? And like I said, I don't mind doing stuff like this for people where they're like, hey, I like to paint, but I can't sculpt, or I don't know how to customize, or I can't repair. Can you do it, but I'll paint it? And I've done that a few times in the past, but I've never really done it a lot, but I don't mind doing it though. So that's always an option out there too for anyone that likes to paint but doesn't want to sculpt. You know, I could always do custom work, and then you could take it from there. So let me know what you guys think. Do you like the way she came out? Do you not? Hit me up with a couple comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.